G'day everyone, how you doing? See a few people online. Clinton, how you doing? Good to see you. And Samo Xamarin, welcome as well. So yeah, I'll upload those videos after today's stream if that's okay. And hopefully everyone's having a good week. It's Friday. Let's have another look at a Xamarin UI challenge because that's what we do on a Friday. Let's put a little bit of music on. Samo Xamarin, Twitch has a limitation. Can't get videos which are older than 1 month. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I will upload them to my YouTube. So go and check that out a little bit later on. All right, let's have a look at what we're working on. We're working on this thing here, which is our Icelandic moss, for what it's worth. Let's have a look at the video of it and see what we're trying to reproduce, and then have a look at what sort of state we're in as well. Okay, so that's not what we're after. What are we after? We're after this this video here. Okay, let's have a look at this playing, see what we have. So this is the UI that we're trying to reproduce in this challenge. We're a fair way there. We spent probably more time than I'd like on this one, but we're getting pretty close. We're getting pretty close. All right, so what I might do is I might just switch back and have a look at where we're up to. So here we have it running on Android. All right, so what have we got? We've got the basics of, you know, if I select an item, it's going to expand out. It's going to show us the details. We can go and increment and decrement things in our cart. We don't have an add to cart functionality at the moment, but what we do have, if we come back here, we have the shopping cart, which appears here. So we're going to do a little bit more work on that one. So we can add things to the shopping cart. So if I add a few of these into the shopping cart, I can actually go and see those in here. And we can also remove them out of here as well. And we show the delivery prices. So we get the basics of it working. I think what we might want to work on first of all is actually perhaps getting this screen to animate in. What do you think? So there's probably two places you can do it now. What we can do is we can, there's two places in the design where you can get to this. Actually, there's one place in the design where you can get to this, and that is when you hit the add to cart, it'll actually bring up the shopping cart. I've actually tied this into this button here as well. Hey, G4MR. Well, let's call you Gamer, I suppose. I'm terrible at reading those.
Today we're gonna code lots with Mr. Kim, Phil Potts, and oh, how amazing you
Gamer, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So it's so rare to see mobile devs on Twitch. Yeah, there's a few around. And there's a few Xamarin ones as well that are definitely worth checking out. So, you know, like James Montemagno and Clancy are all good examples of streamers. David Ortonau as well streams. And the Xamarin Forms team streams as well. So actually probably more Xamarin ones than there are just sort of general mobile ones, which is pretty cool. Anyway, thanks Gamer, and welcome. All right, so let's tackle this screen here first of all then, shall we? What we'll do is we'll start off. There's a few things to fix on this. So one of them is, you know, when we come to this and we display it, it just suddenly appears. But, you know, if we have a look at the design, let's come back over here. What happens in the design when they hit the add to cart? Okay, it actually basically expands up and this bottom section appears and does a nice little bit of animation in there as well. And Gamer, I see you you mainly do Flutter. Yeah, Flutter's cool. I haven't spent enough time in it, but definitely something I would like to check out more. And definitely good for UI intensive work as well. I'm just not sure how I feel about getting into Dart, to tell you the truth. But anyway, all right. So what we're doing this in is Xamarin Forms. So the idea is that on Fridays, I basically sort of take a UI and then try and reproduce it in Xamarin Forms. And I try and do it without using too many renderers and things like that. Okay, so we just sort of hack it together with the standard Xamarin Forms bits. All right, so let's have a look at this bit here. First of all, let's have a look at this design. Okay, so pretty much when the order detail comes up, okay, what it does is it expands up this white section. It expands up this green section into there as well. And what's interesting about this actually is that not all of the...
with Mr. Kim, Phil Potson.
Hey, Gospel of Goose, welcome. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So we're just having a look at this design here. So what's interesting about this is actually, unlike a lot of designs where sort of like the content here would sort of come up with the pop-up, then in this one, it actually just sort of becomes, just sort of appears, okay, or it fades in. It doesn't actually move with the panels in there. So they're gonna have to be different elements. So Sam, you said, Kim, is it possible to check this out when battery optimization is enabled? So what do you mean by that, Sam? And is there a way that you know of that I can reproduce that in the simulator? Because I don't have any physical devices plugged in at the moment. The other option as well, of course, is all of these are on GitHub as well. You can actually go and have a look at it and see yourself and see how it performs. But it's something we can have a look at. Beautiful. All right, let's get this design working first of all. Okay, so first of all, we want this white panel to pop up, then the green panel, and then this stuff to appear as well. So let's have a look at the design for this screen. So this would be the shopping cart popover that we have here. Okay, so inside of here, we've got a few interesting elements. We've got the data templates, which specify whether it's a product item or, let me just bring the app back up here for a second. Okay, so I've got a few things in my shopping cart. That determines whether it's displaying the layout for an item or for the delivery. So we've got two different data templates in there. Okay, then what we've got is we've got a grid with a background color of white. Okay, so this is actually, let me run this. Oops, that's not going to one roll, is it?
Sometimes things don't work.
Okay, sometimes things don't work. That's true. Let's run this up in our simulator. Okay, so this grid with the background color of white here is actually this top part here. So if I was to change this to say yellow, okay, we should see that that's yellow. Okay, so we probably don't want this to be the background color of yellow. Instead, what we want is we probably want a panel, which we're going to slide into place. So let's get rid of that. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's actually going to show through all the stuff underneath it. Let's not worry about that. Instead, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add a panel in into here. So let's just go and do that. I'll get this out of the way for the moment. Okay, so this is our main content grid. Let's add in a box view inside of here with a background color of white. In fact, we probably don't want background color. Probably just color is what we're after. All right, let's see what that's done. All right, not a lot because we're in a grid here and we probably want to say, let's span multiple rows. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so that's what we're after. Now, what we can do, and the trick that I most often use when doing this sort of stuff is if I want this to expand up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by translating it all the way down off the screen. So instead of it sort of sitting in that main area, we'll translate it down so it actually sits down here somewhere. Okay, and then sort of goes up over top. All right, so what we probably want to do then is we probably want to give this thing a name. Okay, so let's give it an X:" name, and we'll call this like our, I don't know, like our white background, for example. Okay, we want it to span 2 rows. Do you want to span 2 rows or 3 rows? I think 3 rows, actually, because we've got 3 rows here. All right, what else are we going to do? Let's start it off as invisible. All right, beautiful. All right, now let's begin with this. Let's come to our main page. Have a look at where we launched this puppy from, which is probably down in our basket icon. Okay, so this is where we're essentially saying, hey, let's go and launch this thing. So what I'll do here, instead of doing just an isVisible equals true, let's actually add a method onto our cart popover to say expand. Okay, we'll add that method in. And I suppose the things we want to do here, first thing that we should probably do is set our initial states. Then we'll go ahead and we'll expand the white section, the white panel. And we'll expand the, was it a green panel? Okay, so that's the background for the entire form, and the green panel is for the shopping cart list. Beautiful. All right, so in terms of setting our states there, let's set our white panel, or our white background. Let's set its translation Y, because we want it to appear off the bottom of the screen. And we'll make that the height of the page. Okay, so it's going to be sitting down below the page. Let's also say it's visible. Okay, beautiful.
Today we're gonna code lots with Mr. Kim Philpotts, and oh how
Hey, Kamosco.
amazing you'll be.
Welcome, thanks for the follow. We're just punching out a little bit of nasty code here. All right, so let's expand the white panel. So that's going to be something like our white panel, white background, dot translate to, so animation here, saying let's translate it into its normal spot. So no translation, which means it's going to cover the whole page. And let me just put a little variable here for a moment. Let's just make it over a second, for example. All right. So that should animate that in over a second. Now, we also want to have the green panel as well. So if we have a look, that's this puppy here. Let's give this a name. Call this our green panel. And we pretty much want to do the same thing. We want to set some initial states, right? So we want to say our green panel translation Y equals the height of the page, which means it's going to be off the bottom of the page.
Equals is a 2016 movie directed by Drake Doremus, starring Nicholas Hoult, Kristen Stewart, and Guy Pearce.
Right, beautiful. So we got that there. And let's expand this one. So we'll say a green background, or green panel. Translate it to 0, 0. Cool. Now we want to wait for the white one to go first. So we'll make this an awaitable, which means we want this to be an async. We don't want an async void. So we'll say it's a task. So we can await it. This one we don't want to wait for. So I'm just going to leave that like so. Now, hopefully if we, I'm going to need a collapse method here as well, aren't I? Am I need a collapse method? Let's add one in. Let's just go back. Here we are. Let's go. And maybe what we'll do is we'll just fade this out. Let's do that. All right, cool. Now we're not dealing with any of the elements that are actually sitting on this page at the moment, but that's all right. Now, I suppose what we want to do as well is we want to have a look at where we go and call this from. So we're going to put a painting code in here. That's for our progress bar. Now that's on a button handler, so it can be an async void. Okay. Let's see what we have. Let's see if that works. How's everyone going getting back into the year? I'm having a terrible time getting back into the year. I'm doing house renovations and things like that, so it's occupying a lot of my time. What on earth has happened there? All these images are screwy. Oh, I think I know why. I think I know why. I think it's because... Actually, I don't know why. Wow, what's going on there? Let's just stop that for a moment. Let's give this another run, see what happens. What is going on? I'm not crazy, am I? Didn't I see... Weren't all these images fine just a moment ago? Pretty sure they were. Wow, lots of stuff just broke. All right, let's have a look, see if we can work out what's going on there. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this solution. Let's give it another build. Hey, Alareza. Welcome. It's got the most peculiar error. Well, it's not even an error. It's just all of my images seem to have, like, changed. It's always the best way to start a stream, when everything just breaks on you. Okay, and so now my images are back. What happened? I have no idea. All right, what I do know though is opening our shopping cart didn't work. Okay, so let's have a look at the code behind that. Right, so we have our code here. Just make sure we're calling that. Must go. It's funny because I usually watch people coding when I'm coding. I do too. And my build is broken. I have no idea why. Open your stream and you have the same problem. Yeah. Computers, huh? So I just did a clean and rebuild and it seems to have fixed it. Okay. So what we're doing is we're doing an expand here. Okay. So what happens when we go into our expand code? We're setting a translation. We're setting it is visible. We're translating it to 00. And then we're translating our green panel. Okay, I think what the problem might be is that we're not actually setting any of the actual control itself to be visible. That would be my guess. So let's. Okay, because these are sub controls on it. Okay, so let's in here say this dot opacity equals 1. This dot is visible equals true. Okay, so that should definitely make this visible. And we'll set our ending state here as well. Just for giggles. And let's see what we get this time. Get rid of a few of these breakpoints in here. All right. What happened there? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so we get our sections coming in, right? So we can kind of see that. We can see that it comes up. So as I do this, our white section comes in. But our problem is that our other elements are already visible in here. So we probably want to take a little bit of control of that and actually fade those in as those bits come up. All right, we can do that. We can do that. That's not hard. All right, so if we have a look at our shopping cart popover, let's check out a few names here. So what we have in here is we've got, this is our header, I suppose. Details without a space. So let's give this a name. So let's call this our header. We've got our green panel, and this grid here is the main shopping cart details. Okay, so let's give this a name as well. All right, beautiful. So with that, let's come back to our expand code here, and we'll say our shopping cart details, opacity equals 0 as a starting point, and our header opacity equals 0. And let's say we want this to fade in. Let's have a look at the design here. I think we want this to fade in at the same time. Okay, so the white section goes up to the top, and then the green section comes in. The shopping cart fades in at the same time. Okay, and the order details does as well. Okay, so what that tells me is it tells me we want to do it after this translation is actually happening. So we'll say shopping cart details. We'll fade that to white. And it probably doesn't want to happen at the same speed. It probably wants to happen a little bit faster. So let's say animation speed times 2. And let's also, and we don't want to await that because we're also going to be doing the header at the same time. And we'll do that at the same speed as well. See how we go with that. Okay, so that's a little bit nicer, isn't it? Obviously, we want it all happen a little bit faster as well. Okay, cool. So that fades in. Beautiful. And also, if we... Oops, hang on, I'm on the wrong screen here. You can't see what I'm doing. Here we are. Let's have a look at that. That's fading in. Thanks, Sam. I was on the wrong screen. All right. So that's coming in. That's fading in. Going up. Beautiful. Let's check it out one more time. Okay. Now, the other thing we want to do is we want that checkout button to actually expand out as well. Because if we go back and have a look at the design, when this comes in, this button down the bottom here, so this one here, is actually coming out and then it's coming back in again. All right. Now we have that actually on another page, but let me just throw in some animation code for this. So let's expand the green panel. Let's go and I'm on the wrong scene again. There we go. Okay, so what we'll do here, now we're doing a scale X, and I don't think we can animate that directly, although I think there was a pull request for it. But let's name our button. Where are you? Down the bottom here. Okay, checkout button. That's our checkout button. we have a scale to. That's not going to do it for us because we just want to scale the X. We don't want to scale the whole thing. So we have to create ourselves an animation. Okay, and we'll say animation. Let's add in here. We'll say for the duration of the animation, we'll create a new animation. Hi, Glenn Stevens.
Today we're gonna code lots with Mr. Kim Phil Potts, and oh, how amazing you'll be.
Welcome. All right, so we'll get our time and we'll say our checkout button. Dot scale. Glenn, I feel like you're Pavlov's dogs when I log in. Yeah, the reason why is, if anyone's wondering, that's because the little intro music is Glenn Stevens recorded that. So yeah, I have to press that. Alareza, I have a question. Can we take a picture and save it without using the Xamarin Media plugin? Well, you could do it with native code, for sure. If you wanted to do it on each platform. The Xamarin Media plugin just actually kind of helps you out by just writing it in a cross-platform way. But if you were to do it yourself, I think you would have to write some platform-specific code because of the way that cameras are dealt with on each platform. So it's going to be a little different. So the Xamarin Media plugin is probably your best bet. Is there a reason you don't want to use the Xamarin Media plugin? So it's just a camera preview. I do it on a custom control, but it's just a camera preview. Right, so you don't actually want to take photos, you just want a camera preview. I'd say a renderer would be your best. Oh, because the media plugin navigates to a new page. Yeah, I'm not aware of some code that would. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen a plugin. Let's have a look for a second. Let's see if we can find one. Okay, so Glenn says the Moments app from Pierce has a renderer. Okay, great. So let's see if we can find that. So that would be like GitHub, Xamarin Moments. Let's see what that does. Hey, look at that. Oh, he's even got a SAML and a C# version of it. It's also unmained. Unmaintained. Okay, so he's got a preview on here. Beautiful. Let's have a quick look. So, I don't know, we'll go into the C# edition. So I'm guessing that there would be a renderer inside of here then somewhere. Draw view, moments entry, drawable image. No, there's just a drawing one. Thanks for providing that link. It's gonna be somewhere in here. Would have thought he'd have a renderer sitting here somewhere. Camera page. Yeah, so if we have a look at this, he's using a bunch of camera references in here. And then, yeah, he's got like capture session. So it's a renderer pretty much. But the good thing is if you can get this working, you should be able to then just, do whatever you like with the camera. So there we are. Thanks, Glenn. All right. What were we doing here? We were saying, okay, we've got this button, checkout button. And we want to set its scale. And so we'll set that equal to our value. So that's going between 0 and 1. And we want to do an easing here. We want it to spring in and out. Or probably just spring out, actually. Would probably do it for us. Okay, and then we'll go and we'll kick off this animation. So give it a little name. We'll say yes. We'll give it 16 frames a second. We'll say, what else do we need? We would want to say it's speed. So let's do this like speed times 2 as well. Animation speed. Oop. And we'll also have to set its starting point. So we'll say, why can't we find that checkout button? So we'll start it off with the 0 scale X. There we go.
Sometimes things don't work.
Okay. Oh. We've got animations in animations. We don't want that. Let's fix that bad boy up. Let's go. All right, now clearly it wants to happen a lot faster. Let's see what it's doing. It's wiping up. Green wipes in as that comes in. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Let's set this animation speed to something a little bit more realistic. So something like 300. Okay, something's not quite right down here. Actual fade in of the sections is okay. You know, if I add a couple of elements in here and I say, yeah, let's go and fade it in. That's okay. Need to deal with this back arrow here. In fact, I might just write a couple of lists here. So let me put this up the top here. Let's back arrow order details. Okay. And animation of checkout button. Okay, let's have a look at what that checkout button actually is. So It's a pancake view. I think it looks about right. We're animating the scale of this. Let me just run that again. Something a little bit more relaxing in the music stakes. It's getting a bit hectic. Something into a cart. Let's bring that in. Okay, beautiful. I feel like this is clipping. Let's see if we do this. Is clip to bounds false? In fact, let's put it on here. I feel like that's clipping these corners. Not sure if Hot Reload will deal with the clipping. This is one of those UI things, isn't it? It's going to take me ages to work out what's going on there. In fact, you know what I think might be happening here is it might be happening a little bit too fast. Let's just try this. Just throw in some magic values because that never fails.
And you fail.
Oh, it's definitely doing something nasty, isn't it? Let's have a look. Why is it doing that little kick at the end? That's what I'm wondering. Animation, we're saying it's animated. Let's change its scale X to be this value. Beautiful. Using a spring in out. Don't see any problems there. I'm going to leave that one for a moment, I think. Let's have a look at this one. Let's have a look at, if I come into here. See that one there? That one there worked fine. Okay, which is how I'd expect it to behave. Let's have a look at that code. See if I did anything different. New animation, scaling it. Pretty similar. You know what? I'm going to steal this code.
It literally smells like burnt chocolate and failure.
What's it called? It's called... check out that. All right, let's check that out and see if it works. All right, what's cropping it? Something is most definitely cropping that from appearing. Well, let's just try this, actually. Okay, so there is a scaled. That's going to expand a little bit beyond that. No idea. Anyone got any bright ideas? Okay, let's have a look at where this one is. Okay, so that's not the one we're after. Is clipped around as false. What about on our containing grid? Let's give that a shot. You can do it. let's go. I don't get it. I don't understand. All right. All right. Well, look, for the moment, that's how it should behave. Hmm. These are the fun things in development, aren't they? Like trying to work out all these UI issues. That's why so many people hate UI, because it can take ages to work this stuff out. All right, let's leave it on our list of things to do. Let's address this button up here. This back button, which at the moment is white on here. We don't want that. We want a black one. So what I should do here, come into Adobe XD, have a look at our design here. Okay, so we already have a design for our white back arrow. Let's just copy that and let's make a black one. Okay, beautiful. And let's export the resources for this one as well. Where are we? GitHub. Under our source here, IcelandMoss. Let's export the Android one. So this is again one of these things I really like about Adobe XD. I can just say, hey, go and export the resources into Android. Export those. Oop. And then we'll do the same thing for iOS as well. And it's going to give me all my different sizes, which is really, really nice. Cool. All right, so back over to here. Let's go and import those resources. Yeah, there's our back arrow black. You know what? I've given them the wrong name, haven't I? I made a typo. Can you believe that? Why isn't anyone checking that?
Epic fail.
Let's make that black. And we'll put this under our Android directory and we should be good. Beautiful. All right, now let's come back over to here and we'll use the right name. those resources. And also while we're here, let's go and delete the other ones with the wrong name. Okay, beautiful. And we should bring in our iOS ones as well. All right, well, wonderful. And then in our shopping cart popover, let's use that button. And we'll also give this a background of transparent because we don't want the button background in there. So we'll say transparent. Give this puppy a run. See how we go. Add that into our shopping cart. There we got a nice little black back arrow, which is nice. We still don't have this checkout button working correctly. All right, well, let's try this. Let's tie in the navigation between these screens then, right? So let's go, if I select one of these and I say add to cart, if we have a look at the design, the idea there, and I'm not sure whether I like this or not. I think I don't when it comes down to it. But if we have a look here, what happens when we add to cart? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna jump and get that. Missed it. I'm gonna get that star. Ready? We are. All right. So when add to cart, this is basically when it brings this information. Beautiful. Let's do that transition. So this is from our product display popover. Okay, first of all, we're not doing anything with this button at the moment. So let's add a gesture recognizer in here. So basically turn this into a button if you like. We'll add a tap gesture recognizer in here, and when we tap on it, let's go and come on, you can do it. There we are. Let's not call this tap just recognize. Let's say add to cart. All right. So I think what we really want to do here is we pretty much want to tell it to expand out the shopping cart. All right, so if we do that, I think all we really need to do is we need to actually find that control. I think we had a bit of code up here to do this. Okay. So let's do this. Let's say this is where they've tapped on our button. So we'll get access to our main page. I'm not sure I like this, but we'll go with it for the moment. So we can say, okay, well, let's go and get our main page. And what we'll do is we'll call a method on it, right? So we'll say show basket, for example. And this will be our actual method, which does this, right? So down the bottom here where we've done this, let's not do that. Let's have a show basket, which is doing this. Should we await this? Let's await this. Should we do this? No, let's not do that. Let's see what happens. And one of these, expand that out. All right, it kind of works. Get our shopping cart, we open up a product. I think we want that to happen a little bit faster. So we'll adjust the animation speed of that in a moment. When I say add to cart, okay, that's when it expands this. And if we hit the back button, we go back to the product, which kind of makes sense to me. And what we do need to do is we need to actually make it add the product in as well. That actually kind of works pretty nice, I think. Let's speed this one up. That's a bit nicer. Yeah. I think it's okay. I think it's fine. Okay, we do need this to actually add a value into our shopping cart, I think. Because I should be able to come to Sky Blue here. And then grab a value. Add to the cart, and I should then have 3 in my shopping cart. All right, let's deal with that. So we want to be in our product display popover. When we add this to a cart, okay. So in here then, we probably want to do something like when we change our quantities. Okay, so these are the 2 buttons that do the adjusting of our quantities. Let's do this. Private void date shopping cart. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our access to our view model. So the binding context for this page is the main view model. So I should be able to say, okay, well, let's go and get a main view model from the binding context. And then we should be able to say from our view model, let's go to our shopping cart. Let's create a method. So we have an increment order, but in this case, we can actually, it's not just the increment, we can add multiple. So we'll say, let's add an order in, and it's going to take a selected product, and it's also going to take a quantity. Okay, so we have this this value here, quantity count. Something like that. Create this method. Okay, so in our shopping cart code here, I think what we want to do is we want to say, let's find an item. Find the item if it exists in the shopping cart. We then want to, if we found it, increment the count. Otherwise, add it to the shopping cart. All right, something like that. Okay, so let's implement this. So let's say, let's get our item. We've got a nice little method called find item. Let's pass in our selected product. Okay. If we found it, so if our item's not equal to null, then let's set our item count equal to quantity. Otherwise, we need to add it to the shopping cart. So let's say, let's get a new item. And we'll say, let's add a new shopping cart item. The product. What's that expecting? Product view model. Oh, cool. So that's what we have. So that should be our selected product. And our count equals the quantity. Right, looks about right. Oh, we need to actually add it into our shopping cart. So we've got our items, insert. We're going to insert at the top of the list. So we'll put in index 0 and we add in our new item. Let's see if that works. So let's say we come to Sky Blue here. We say, hey, Sky Blue, let's get 3 of you and add you into the cart. Fail. Failure. It's not even calling this code. That would be why. So let's have a look at our product display. I thought we were here. Oh, look at that. That method's not being called anywhere. So I suppose we want to do that when we add it to the cart. Because somebody could theoretically come in here and say, so they could come in here and they could say, hey, let's go and have a look at this. Let's add 6. No, let's not. Let's back out. So it should only actually increment it once they hit this button, add to cart. Did that work? Let's find out. Hey Travidel, how you doing? Bit of a quiet stream today we're having. I think everyone's working. But welcome. How are you doing, Travidel? There we are, that's better. Beautiful. So there we are. We just ordered 3 of those bad boys. Let's go to our yellows. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, Travidel. I've been pretty busy recently. I'm moving house and renovating at the same time. So yeah, I've been super busy. Let's add 6 yellow suns in. Booyah, 6 yellow suns, done. My total of 0. That doesn't look right. All right, so we need to fix our totals. Also, we need to do a little bit of design work on this page, I reckon. All right, so let's start off here. Let's have a look at... Let's look at this total, first of all. Travidale. So this is random, but my boys and I are getting into the Aussie show on Disney called Bluey. Yeah, Bluey's awesome. Is it well known out there? Yeah, it is. So I think it's... yeah, I mean, it's an Australian show. Yeah, it's really well respected, actually. Even from I was reading an article about how it is actually quite good in parenting techniques as well. So it's good for adults to watch. It's got a whole bunch of child psychologists work on it, I think. But yeah, it's an awesome show. My kids are a little bit old to watch it now, so we kind of missed it when it first started. But it's a excellent show. And I'm totally that dad. Right. So our total works there. Why does our total work there? All right, let's do a bit of design on this page. Okay, now first things first, I'm going to adjust how these look. If we have a look at the design here, there's a little bit of shadow going on in here. Put a little bit of shadow in there. Let me just, maybe I'll put it over here. I'll need to make this a little bit wider. Let's make this like 70 wide. And let's give it a shadow. Let's also explicitly set the row height, I think. Okay, so let's say we make it 80 high. There we are. That's kind of gives it a bit nicer spacing. Right. Let me move this out of the way here. Let's go and adjust the freight item as well. Give it a similar size. Now in the design, it doesn't have a shadow on that one, but look, that's okay. Okay, so that doesn't update our totals. Why does that not update our totals? Okay, because we should have a value here. So let's have a look at our shopping cart view model. Yeah, we need to call update totals. That's what our problem is. Travid, how big delay after sending a message. Be right back. All right. Just come in here. Let's get a sky blue. Let's add a couple of sky blues in, or a few. Let's add 3 in. Let's say add that to the cart. Beautiful. And if I remove this out, great. Now, one other thing that I think should happen here as well is when we are displaying this here, we should have the right number. If it's already got something in the shopping basket, this number should represent it. At the moment, we don't have 2 in the shopping cart, do we? No, we don't. So I guess this is when it's displaying the product details. Maybe we should have a method here. Okay, so if it's in the shopping cart, we'll update the quantities. Otherwise, we'll set it to 0. No, we won't set it to 0. We'll set it to 1 as the default. Okay. So again, how can we do this? Okay, so try this. Let's just say, let's try and find our selected item. So from our view model, let's go. This is a little bit nasty. So let's select a product. And we probably want to go from our view model. Let's see if it's in the shopping cart. We don't have a method for that. Okay. So let's go and add one of those in. I think we do have one. We have a, yeah, we do have a, we've got a find item. So we want to find our product. Okay, so if our product is not equal to null, let's go ahead and say and then we'll go ahead and we'll update our display. See if that works. So I'll come in here, I'll say, hey, let's okay, we have a value of 1. We'll go and put 3 of these in our shopping cart. Beautiful. Now, if I come in here to green life, it should show me just 1. Bum, bow. Again, that's because I'm not actually loading those quantities. Alareza says, is it safe to create a tab bar with change is visible of the content view that is content view? Is it safe to create a tab bar with can I change the is visible of the content view for something that's in a tab bar? I'm not sure what you're trying to do, Alareza. Are you trying to hide one of the tabs? You can certainly change the visibility of any element whenever you want. I wouldn't do it for the selected one. For a content view, like you can always change it, but normally you don't want to modify, for example, what is in the, if you've got a tab bar and you've got a few items on the tab bar, I think normally it's best practice not to hide the visibility of the tabs. So if you've got like 4 tabs, it should always stay 4 tabs. But you could go and select another one, or you could change the visibility. That would be all right. Okay, so we got 2 now. If we come back into here, we should have 1. Beautiful. Come in here, we should have 2. Great. What happens if we come into here? We'll add 4 suns in. And then we delete the 4 suns. Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? When we come back in here, it should actually update those quantities. All right, well, that will give us something to work on next time. It's about 12 o'clock, so I'm going to have to get going shortly. I think, like, if we have a look at this design, So Alareza, because I have just a question there because I have a curve and a gradient tab bar. I guess it depends on what you're trying to do, Alareza. If you can put together an example and like what I like to do is I like to actually play around in UI mockups in things like Sketch. Put something together of what you're trying to do. Happy to have an opinion. Always happy to have an opinion. It's what I do best. All right. I can hear the kids going crazy at the moment. All right. And you know what that means? It means it's my turn for parenting because it's school holidays here. All right. When you change visibility, you have a memory leak. Well, when you change visibility, it's not going to unload, I suppose. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to have to sign off because the family's home, and I'm going to have to go and look after those. So let me have a look and see if there's anyone available that we can raid. And I think, yeah, no worries, Alarez, but feel free to send something through. No worries, everyone. So yeah, I got to go because kids are knocking at the door. All right. So take care. See you next time, Travidar. Thanks, Alareza. Thanks everyone who was joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. And thanks, DJ Camporus. Umit, thanks. Good luck with the kids. Yeah, it's gonna be special. School holidays here, so that always means interesting time with the kids. All right, bye for now.